I'm told that like maybe one of the worst things I could do is pick up this microphone. And then I was told that the best thing I could do is pick up the microphone and say stuff to you. And then someone said, "There's a microphone?" So I'm just going to do what I want to do. Is that okay? I want to tell you about some of the music we're singing tonight and playing tonight. So we've entitled the program Rustic Songs and Dances because it is Rustic Songs and Dances, but that doesn't really mean anything, does it? Rustic songs and dances could be country music, could be bluegrass, could be, I don't know, 17th century Italian madrigals like the one you just heard. It could be the opening to a church service, which was the first piece we sang, Domine ad adjuvandum me. It started with the intonation of usually a priest, but a cantor, and then we launch into that thing, and the Vesper service is all about being thankful that we made it through the day and hopeful that God will see us through the night, which today we're hoping that God sees us through this concert, of course. But here at the Riley Arts Center, we don't even really talk in those terms because you know how many concerts occur here on this stage all the time and how many symphony concerts we have this year. There's no worry about having good concerts here. But the next piece we're going to play for you is called Sonata Pianoforte. And, music history, as you might learn it in your college music history or music appreciation class, is not really a class about music history. It's a class about music as we know it in terms of what has been written down. And this piece is fascinating because the composer, Gabrieli, this was the first example of music in which the composer wrote down the music he wanted his musicians to play and also specified what dynamic to play, so whether to play loud or soft. And in Italian, those words are piano and forte. Piano meaning soft, forte meaning loud. And so you'll hear in this next piece exactly that, some contrast between what's soft and loud, and this is the first time anybody did it. So this is Sonata Pianoforte. So the next piece is called parables. And a parable, if you don't know, is a story that is told in order to teach a lesson. And so we're not going to tell you, despite how the world seems to work these days, we're just going to tell you the story, and then you can decide what the lesson is. Because I feel like if I tell you, then you're going to hear it and you're going to say, I don't know if that's the story of that parable or whatever. So you're going to just enjoy the parable read by our choral friend, Kevin Krauschar, who is coming to the podium, and enjoy the music in between. And I hope you gain a little bit of insight with the lessons Kevin teaches us through these 3 parables.
Once there was a girl who always started over. She was a violinist and made especially a habit of starting over when she made mistakes during her extensive practice time each day. When she was 30, she was famous. Many people came to hear her wherever she would perform. One night she gave a concert and everyone was there. She made a mistake and started over. When she had finished, everyone rose to their feet and applauded her for 10 minutes. She was glad she had learned to start over. Once there was a church that was looking for better questions. Now, every time they get together, they have the feeling that something important is going to happen. If it ever didn't, someone would surely ask why. Once there was a man who was given an empty bag. All he had to do was fill it with anything and everything his heart desired, and it would be his. The man was insulted that someone would think he had time to do such a thing, so he threw the bag away.
There we go. Oh, good. So there's a choir on stage, as you can see. By the way, this is the Ocala Symphony Orchestra chorus. But composers of this era, meaning like the late Renaissance, didn't just want to write for one choir, they wanted to write for several. And sometimes they would just get kind of tired of writing for singers, so they'd write for choirs of instruments. And in our orchestra tonight, which of course is members of our esteemed Ocala Symphony Orchestra Chorus, we have an orchestra. They're the chorus. They're the orchestra. You know what I mean. I'm a choir director, sorry. So we have several choirs of instruments in our orchestra today. This is the woodwind choir. Woodwinds, can we stand up? Thank you. So you see some instruments that might be familiar to you. We have the piccolo, and we have oboes and English horns, and of course the bassoon. And then we have the mighty contrabassoon, which is one of my favorite things ever. She's not even going to lift that thing up. It's about as tall as I am and all of that. Then we have our brass choir. Brass instrument. Hold your instruments up. That's good. There we go. Then it feels a little strange calling the strings a string choir, but in this sense, they are a bit of a choir because they play antiphonally with the woodwinds and the brass sometimes. So lift up your instrument strings. Now, this is a violin. And I know you all know about the violin, but do you know about the viola? Hold up y'all's violas, yes. This is not a violin. It's a viola, and it's very special, and they're massive and wonderful to play. Then the cellos, you see here, and the bass, as you can see, yes. So this next piece called Canzone, why am I forgetting the title? Canzone Septimitoni, is written for separate choirs of instruments that play against each other. So you'll hear moments of music in the brass and then the woodwinds and the strings, and they toss it back and forth until they end in triumph together. Enjoy this, Gabriele. The next piece we're going to play you, oh my goodness, it works. I know, and I think it was my fault before that it wasn't working because there's this little switch. And I never noticed that before, so sorry. The next piece we're going to play and sing for you is called L'Homme Armé. And it doesn't sound like it to our modern ears necessarily, but this tune, the people of the time found so sexy that it got into all of the dance music of the time, and it was in all of the, and so all the church musicians, they'd go out, they would never tell, but they went out and they heard this tune, L'Homme Armé, and they brought it back into the church, and they would compose these stunning and wonderfully serene mass settings and lots of church music with this tune embedded in it because it was so popular that they thought the congregation would engage more with their church music if they heard something familiar. Boy, how times don't change. Anyway, so this tune inspired a whole lot of dancing, a whole lot of church music, a whole lot of everything. It's named L'Homme Armé.